to the Moon series. This is where, through card messages, our spirit guides invite us to take a look at ways to raise our vibration with the waxing and waning moon cycle. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Beth. I use the archetype cards to see what aspect of ourselves we'll be working with. My very own Cards of Truth, Cardomancy cards, for how to begin forming a plan of action, and the Lenormand cards that give us a means of support, and ending with a Starseeds card for a kind of "you've got this" kiss on the top of your head. Now, you'll find links below to get your own free personal Cardology chart, and when you do get your personal birth chart, you'll then be able to see what cards you have in the placements of your emotional tendencies, the moon, your destiny life path, the ecliptic, and where you are being invited to explore for direction and answers, Rahu, and all the other planets and cards that your birth time placed for you. This is a new moon in Gemini. So let's visit the astrology of this new moon in Gemini first, and then how the cardology can enhance your new moon experience. The sign of Gemini is air, mutable, Mercury energy, and known to embrace spontaneity in the way we think and feel and communicate, or to communicate. We'll experience a harmony that finds ourselves more in touch with our feelings and being able to quickly process and express them. If by chance you are experiencing any of the lower vibrational energies, like feeling scattered, overthinking, lost in thought, just know that you are in an in-between state of transitioning. Try to give it as much time as you can to just sit with it and ask your spirit guides for help in relaxing and focusing. They'll be happy to do that for you. Since astrology is ultimately about our self-realization and growth through healing, I'd expect us all to experience a deeper clarity with more sensitive awareness about Gemini characteristics. Our communication styles, our senses will be more alert, giving us insight about how we communicate. Find ourselves open to receiving all the nonverbal, intuitive tells of ourselves and other people, like the cadence in our speech inflections, body language, the style of clothing, etc. Everything is up for interpretation over the next couple of weeks, as well as how we choose to internalize what we receive, process, and then translate, including what we receive from our spirit guides. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the other major transiting planets involved and influencing the next 2 weeks, mainly Jupiter and Venus. Jupiter, the planet of luck, joy, and exuberant expansion, whose rebirth was just June 3rd, an Ace of Spades day, gave us a big, deep inner revelation of importance about ourselves. And Venus, the planet of what we love and what gives us ease, including love and having money, Venus is as happy as can be here. But Jupiter, not so much, because Gemini wants and needs to discuss all the ins and outs before we are ready to jump to action. Jupiter just wants to trust and jump. The difference here can be a good thing for us. The unrest or frustration can often be the catalyst for change for the better. And with this setup, we'll get excited for change and then go about gathering the facts, get organized, and then implement the change without being in such a rush. Kind of like planning the trip, checking the car, and then enjoying the ride and all the pit stops. Gemini and Venus, not just hopping on a plane to the destination, Jupiter. For challenges, think before taking action. Even a moment before getting out of bed to realize or visualize your day, and you're consciously saying, I will take a breath before making decisions that could cost precious energy. Now, the cardology, the card for this new moon is the Jack of Diamonds, fast-paced initiation energy using the Ace, 2, and 3 of diamonds that the Jack encompasses. It's known for being a big stepping stone card for manifesting value. You know, the Jack has always got his eye on the king and queen's position one day, so he's kind of getting ready for that. This card is a sweet-talking, convincing salesperson who knows how to show you the value you want to see. Ultimately, it's about seeing a value of yourself, something new that aces the opportunity, and then being inspired to begin a new venture. That's that 2 of diamonds. And then see it through to reality. That's the 3 of diamonds, and it's very fast paced. I really like this card for the birthday of this new moon. It's a good start. Tomorrow we move into the 10 of diamonds, starting with that and so forth and so on, and ending, I don't know, in the club somewhere. To see what area of your personal life gets energized the most, look to see what card you have in the Mercury position in your personal chart and what planets and houses are there. Then where your birth time placed Mercury and see what story you can create. Also, do you have a Jack of Diamonds in your chart? If so, check that as well. Okay, before I get started, I want to share 2 quotes for this new moon in Gemini. The first one is by Caesar Pavese, I believe is how you pronounce it. If you wish to travel far and fast, travel light. Take off all your envies, jealousies, unforgivingness, and selfishness and fears. I love that. The second is by Redfu. Direction is more important than speed. You can go fast in the wrong direction. Okay. Let's get started. Okay, Aries Moon. Let's ask, what is Aries Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Aries Moon best utilize the energies of Gemini and the transiting planets at this time? Optimistic, open-minded, investigating for our own well-being. That shifts us into a truer transformation of self and raising our vibrational aura. Aries Moon, this new moon is transiting your 3rd house of communication, which begins with you. It's being Gemini's natural home. This should lend extra clarity. Your cardinal, seeing the big picture, fire energy, ready to go, and Mars-led action. So let's take a look at what the cards are offering you for this new moon beginnings. The archetype card, the Lover. Light attributes, great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation, of someone or something. Shadow attributes: obsessive passion that harms others, self-destructive devotion. You know, first thing that pops in, you want what you want. You go for what you want, and there's really nothing wrong with that as long as you've thought it through. I mean, during this period of time, we're all going to have that challenge of jumping in before we've really given it some thought. So do take time to think about and plan how you are going to open this new role for you as just having that unbridled love and appreciation for someone or something. It's interesting that they put something on here because it feels like you could easily fall in love with an idea, a new way of life, a new way of beginning. You could see something like changing your persona, really deciding to become someone new. And that's marvelous. It's really interesting because you can do that if that's what you're feeling. Now, what we're looking at here is a reinvention of how you do emotions through that emotional lens where you are far seeing, immediately, being of self, Aries, first house, what's good for you. I'm really getting such an energy boost coming through for you that you're really opening, I want to get this right, opening to becoming a more grounded is coming through, but it feels more like a maturity that allows you time to figure it out. Like some of you watching are feet first. You jump with it. You find something that you want to do and you go do it. But with maturity comes these times where you really start to rethink how you want to begin. So for you to be changing the way you show up emotionally, right, in the best attributes possible: passion, devotion, unbridled appreciation. Nothing wrong with that at all. Where it gets complicated is if it's not well received, or if you keep hitting blocks, but you don't see that you need to shift or rethink things or maybe do a different calculation. So what's coming through for you is that transformation of stopping and asking yourself, okay, so I'm feeling blocked. Emotionally, I'm feeling held back or stymied, or someone or somehow something, the situation has put up a roadblock. And instead of hurtling over it like a perfectly good cardinal energy, seeing the end goal, to hell with the road, you just want to get there. You've decided that the obstacle can bring you a lot of insight into yourself, because whatever the roadblock is the thing, the shadow attribute or what's causing the shadow attribute to come around, in its, I want to say orbit, but in its cycle, for you to take a deeper look at how, why, all of the ins and outs of how you pursue the emotional end game for yourself. Okay, let's turn over the Spirit and Nature card and see where this all is going to take a shift, a turn, or a beginning. The Queen of Hearts. Well, this is all encompassing. I mean, the queens, they just have it all. And the shadow attributes can be very much like the Lover's card. So let's investigate this a little bit. It's Neptune energy, highly creative, being of the heart suit, incredibly intuitive, being a queen. She encompasses the 4s, 5s, and 6s in the same suit. So we're looking at, again, the 4s, Mercury energy, and High Priestess energy being the red card. There's Jupiter and Justice. That's bringing in Jupiter, right? Which is coming out of that Cassimi into this Phoenix rising. With Justice, the card that just really makes you accountable for yourself. And then 6, Venus energy. They're all here. And that's the devil energy in the major arcana for the cards of truth and cardology. So, my goodness, it is really big. So for all of this energy, when you're thinking about the combination and how you fall in love with something or someone, unbridled, open-hearted, just passion, devotion, really want to just embrace the whole thing, that's a big way to approach getting involved with someone or something. And the queen really knows how to do this correctly, using intuition. And it's like an intuitive knowing. Incredible balance, incredible stability. And it's this absolutely gorgeous, unconditional love. And I think I really needed to be thinking along that line. That coming through just feels so fresh and raw, just, you're ripping your heart out and handing it to someone. But it's also being super competent and knowing when to nurture, when to nature, and just being able to, along with that passion, nourish whatever is in your sights for want and need for yourself, right? Because this is just as much about you as it is how you give of yourself and how that is received, whether it's being roadblocked or not. Shadow attributes that we should be thinking about here is any insecurities around those roadblocks that are holding you back. The whole thing about Gemini and this new moon is the communications for you. This is crossing your 3rd house. So communications suggest correctly that it is a conversation between people or you with your really heartfelt energies, because you want to get this right and you want to be met with what you want. So not to be manipulative, but to be open and honest, and best way to be asking questions, whether that be something that you are wanting for yourself, like a new job or a new persona. Maybe you're falling in love with a different way of expressing your emotions. You may be maturing, taking a giant step forward into who you see yourself becoming, and really obsessing and starting to really get excited and wanting that for yourself. Great. Just understand that along with those transitions, there's going to come some nature, nurture, stability needed here for yourself. Nice. To be opening, right? This new beginning for you is all about, all right, it just came through, falling in love all over again with yourself, a new version of you. Wow. All right, let's see what you get for the Lenormand cards. Curious about the two. Oh, the heart, of course. That's just you having everything fall into place. A serenity and loving yourself is where it starts, where it says right there. And the Gentleman, which just brings a clarity to the reading, hopefully for you. I hope that's true, and I hope this is resonating with you. And I just love that you are at this crossroads where you get to reinvent yourself. And it just starts with feeling differently and following where and what you want to become next. And I love it. And I love that she came up because of the 4, 5s, and 6s. Everything is here. Venus, Jupiter, Mercury. Third house. Crazy. All right, good. Let's see what you get for the Starseed card. Truth. Stick to the truth, right? See your light. Know your power. Have the courage to walk your truth, even through all of those obstacles that are bound to crop up. It is part of the transformation passage. You have to, because what that does for you is really recommits you to your path. You get to question more. You get to see where you are undermining or holding yourself back out of whatever, fear or envy or whatever it is. Just know that if you embrace it and make friends with it and say, you're going to be fine and keep on going, and you'll take care of everybody, right? Inside and out, while you do this, because why not? It's going to be absolutely beautiful and so much more well-rounded and inclusive for yourself and others. And it's your truth. All right, Aries Moon, I love this for you. I hope it resonates, and as always, best of luck. Okay, Taurus Moon, let's ask, what is Taurus Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Taurus Moon best utilize the energies of Gemini and the transiting planets at this time? optimistic, open-minded, investigating for our own well-being that shifts us into a truer transformation of self that raises our vibrational aura. Taurus moon, this new moon is transiting your second house. That's your natural house of what you value most. You are fixed Earth and Venus led. So let's take a look at what the cards are offering for new moon beginnings. Venus, as you remember, is very happy with where things are at right now. And that is your ruling planet. And this is transiting your second house, your natural home. So it'll be interesting to see what the cards have in store for you for new beginnings. 2 starseed cards popped out. It seems to be doing a double here and there along the way, so it might be, it just dawned on me, of course, it's Gemini. The twins. So, of course, we're going to get some doubles. All right. So, for you, it doubled up on the starseed. But let's see what we get for the archetype cards and begin the begin of this new beginning moon. The Fool. Light attributes, fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. Shadow attributes, using humor to wound rather than liberate, denial of the emotional truth. Yeah, for you being a Taurus-led moon, and being all in these really lovely and safe places astrologically right now. I really, 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 really like this for you because why not be fearless in revealing your emotions? When you know, it's that fixed earthy energy and Venus, right? Your moon. You just know, and you've got that groundedness about it. So to have that self-deprecating ease of lightness, right? A lightness around something that could be incredibly heavy, especially where an emotionally need for some change might happen, which would be very difficult for a Taurus moon because of that fixed energy. Okay, so let's see. I'm just waiting for something else to come through about the shadow attributes because, okay, so, about the shadow attribute is that fixed energy. It's almost like it could go either way for you. And to keep it more light-hearted, you definitely want to know what your rising sign is and your sun sign. You could look and see what cards you have in those places as well. Maybe your ecliptic and Rahu, just to see for card-wise where and what your natural path is around this. So being that, say you're a club suit, then you're going to want to get really intellectual about pursuing some messages for yourself here. You could be diamond as well, and you could also be spade. So, yeah, check those out and see, whether it's a remedy or a cure, or if it's just really diving deep into the heart's, emotional suit for you. See what you have in your chart. All right, let's take a look at the spirit and nature. The Eight of Hearts. So this is about you. The eights are about self-validation. Eights represent Rahu's natural card position. So if you are around the age of 42, then that's very good information for you, because this is a self-realization that is about to present itself, to start you off on this new beginning of knowing what it is that you need, not necessarily what you want, but it could possibly be both. The planetary alignment right now is perfect for this. We are in such a special time astrologically that these revelations of self are just going to be emerging. And this is the heart suit. And if you have an Eight of Hearts in your chart, even better, see where that card lies and what's going on for you there. Fearlessly revealing emotion, which I can see where a Taurus moon might hold back. See what the lay of the land is, see what the best approach might be, not wanting to set yourself up for failure, just kind of testing the waters, which is good. That's what we're supposed to be doing during this time, because Jupiter here just wants us to jump in on the fly. Don't worry about it. Just go for it. But Gemini wants to talk about it, wants to discuss it, wants to plan, got to talk about it and enjoy the ride. So, yeah. The Eight of Hearts definitely brings that home for you. Now, in the major arcana, it represents the Hanged Man, which does tell you to look at it from a different point of view so that you can get a more well-rounded, diplomatic, all-concerning way to think about it. Very good advice. I'm really happy to see this here, because why not? You doing you by opening with this new moon to a different way to shift into how you approach things, either with other people, as in romantic or friendships or partnerships, or whatever that looks like for you, because that's what the archetype card is here for. And how whatever you're doing and how you might tweak it will rebound and bounce back, mirror for you to see how things are received, which lends to reinventing who you are, who you want to be, recognizing where you are at now and where you want to be in the future. Cool. All right, let's see what you get for the Lenormand card. You get the letters, so more communication. Yeah, whatever that takes for you. This is about, okay, getting to make a game of it. Try something, a seed of something, present something. And just as your nature might naturally flow, see what the reaction is that you get. Either, I'm hearing from the universe, so you can do this for you, even with random acts of kindness, looking reflectively on why you chose to do a random act of kindness in the way that you choose to do, or present something either straightforward, or are you coming at it sideways? And what is it that you truly want? What's your motivator for the way you do things? And see how that action bounces back to give you a glimpse of who you are, honestly, truly, being open to not falsifying it in any way. Telling yourself that it's one way when if you spent some time with it, you'd see that nothing's one way. So how does that lend to tweaking how you're doing you and how you might do you better in a more self-validated kind of way? I mean, you got to know yourself, right? This is the way to do it. All right, let's see what you get for the 2 starseed cards. Release and surrender. Oh, that's beautiful. Release anything that keeps you from your path of authenticity. Exactly. And surrender your need to control the outcome. Just be with life in this present moment. Wow. All right. That's very perfect for this reading. Yes. And have fun with it, I might add, because the more that you can bounce back and forth off of other people, situations, wants, needs with yourself, right? The more you're going to learn about yourself. And that's exactly what this card is here to suggest for you. So, perfect. All right. And okay, I'm sorry. One more thing. I'm supposed to remind you, if you didn't know this already, that the 8 of Hearts has a timing that comes with it, not just because of the age of 42, which can be leading up to and on the other side. It's kind of like an arc. But the 8 of Hearts is also a timing up to a year. So this could take you a little while, and it could be a practice for you for the rest of the year. Moons and all of the all-with-alls for it are at least 6 months. In 6 months' time from this moon, you will see whatever you've planted start to come into fruition. It's very cool that way. All right, well, there you have it, Taurus Moon. I wish you the best of luck, and as always, thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay, Gemini Moon, let's ask, what is Gemini Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Gemini Moon best utilize the energies of Gemini and the transiting planets at this time? Optimistic, open-minded, investigating for our own well-being that shifts us into a truer transformation of self and raise our vibrational aura. Gemini Moon, this transit is happening in your 1st house of self. This could be just about anything for you. Your month, your moon, you are mutable, air, and Mercury-led energy. So let's take a look at what the cards are offering for new moon beginnings for you. All right, let's see. We've got the archetype card, which is the victim. The light attributes prevent you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. The shadow attributes playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity, inability to maintain personal boundaries. Yeah, self, right? What kind of warrior are you stepping into? Are you a 7? That's another good question, because the natural 7s, if you've got one in your birth chart, this is all about moving from a victim to a warrior position, and how you're going to do that by learning, because that 7 puts you in a natural position to be victimized. It's one of the catch-22s for the 7s, to understand that those ordeals, those, I know, infringements on who you are tests to bring about a warrior-like mentality, but warrior-like within a maturity of stepping into a warrior role with compassion and forethought and love. You know, it's like when you step in and champion for someone. Are you doing it with consideration to what's going on for you personally? Is this a way for you to exercise some need, or are you stepping in as a soldier of wanting to have that peace and compassion shine through? So this is what you're asking yourself. And it's a Gemini moon. I mean, you've got this 2 possibilities that are either getting along or they're opposing, that twin energy. So perhaps this is something that you have been questioning, you know, like, why me? What happened? Why did I people please too much emotionally? For what? So that I would get fulfilled in some way emotionally, feel like I'm loved, when it's completely transactional, which puts you in a victim mode. So how can you move forward with championing for yourself and for others in the right way, so that you bring awareness to yourself and to other people who are involved with that sort of thing, even if it's within yourself? All right, let's move on to the spirit and nature. Oh, fate. Okay, so keep getting doubles. Gemini. I love it. You are my 3rd reading here. Aries and Taurus, and now you. And every one of all 3 have gotten 2 cards in one way or another. All right, that's a nice shuffle, and now I'm just going to let my fingers tell me which card is meant for you. Okay, we are down here. Oh, the Ace of Spades. Oh my goodness, this is perfect. It is a revelation of self. It's today's card. Today's card. I love this. Oh, you are just moving into a much better you. Wow. That's beautiful. Okay, so revelation of self, sun energy. Look to your sun card, see what you have. Check to see if you've got an Ace of Spades in your birth chart. See where that is. Lace it together, create a story, and open to the possibilities that that is a message for you. So, yeah, now this is a important discovery for you. This is about your security of self. There's there's an unbridled enthusiasm about this for today, but you need to understand that it is understanding you. It's really during this time period, this 2 weeks, you, with this Gemini energy of openness and communications, especially with this card, communications with the divine, your spirit guides. They want to bring something through for you. So let them open to that and really give it that moment where you ask a question and you pause for a moment as if someone was going to answer. And in that moment, you're listening, so you're not thinking. So try to stay in that listening vibe. And just through the day, just, stop and cock an ear to the powers that be and give it a second and then continue on and see what comes through for synchronicities, for thought, for what you see happening, and take all of that in for a reflection of you, because you are definitely taking this as a opportunity to really come into a realization about where you may be giving too much. I heard a term the other day of obligation fatigue, which you want to do for so many people for whatever reasons, whether you want that love back, whether you want to be appreciated, whether it just makes you feel good to give. But however, you can find yourself in these entanglements that you overpromise and you overgive. And for what? It ends up that you give too much and create this fatigue. So, which creates another form of victim mode, victimizing yourself in that way. So if you do have a 7 in your chart, definitely look there to see where this might be affecting you more deeply and where this revelation may be coming from today. Whew, big one for you. All right, let's see what we get for the Lenormand. Okay, it's the bear. So the bear is about value. It says it about financial positions, but really the way I'm reading them and the way this card comes up is about a value of self. Now that's going to definitely involve that Venus part of this whole bundle, if you will. So check your chart to see what you have in the Venus position, what card, and where your Venus is, and what card that is, where your birth time had placed your Venus. And put those two together in the story as well, you will find that there is something of a revelation in all of this investigating, which we are also in with Gemini. Love of it will figure that part out. Just very nice. So it's a newfound value about how you are moving into a better position of that warrior for yourself in the right way, best way possible. Very nice. All right, let's see what you get for the starseed. Free spirit. Yes, free yourself up. To be a free spirit is to float without walls, to fly without judgment, and to love without conditions. That is so beautiful. perfect for you. And the other thing that I want to say as well just came through. The Ace of Spades is the key card for the spade suit. So it makes it even more special for you. Okay? All right. It is the Self card. Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you for being here. And as always, best of luck. Okay, Cancer Moon, let's ask, what is Cancer Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Cancer Moon best utilize the energies of Gemini and the transiting planets at this time? That optimistic and open-minded, investigating for our own well-being that shifts us into a truer transformation of self and raises our vibrational aura. Cancer Moon, this transit, it's happening in your 12th house of self-undoing. You are cardinal energy, water energy, and moon-led. So let's take a look at what the cards are offering for new moon beginnings for you. Yeah, self-undoing. All right, let's take a look. Martyr, light attributes, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Shadow attributes, addiction to self-pity. That's a good one for Cancer Moon. You know, my sun sign is Cancer, and I'm triple moon-led. That first deacon moon, Cancer sign is ruled by moon. I was born under a full moon. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So addiction to self-pity and how you could let go of something like that, where that self-talk, and learn the transcendence nature of service to yourself. I'm really feeling this is about you, not a cause, unless you want to think of yourself as the cause, depending on how much self-pity, that woe is me talk that goes on in the shadow attributes of what we're dealing with in this lifetime. It really is about getting out of that victim mode and moving into a warrior mentality, that transcending into a more mature and understanding that during these periods of transcendence and transition, that those are the hurdles and the pit stops that we find ourselves. The visual just came in of a road trip and getting a flat tire, and you've got someplace important or fun to be, and maybe you're bringing something important to the next place that you're going to. Yet now you've got this flat tire and you're out in the middle of nowhere. And how are you going to move forward? What is it in that moment? What did that flat tire bring to you? What kind of gift of looking inward at what that brings up for you? That was just a really lovely download for you. That was pretty spot on. Because we all do it. And those are there so that we can figure out that is part of the lesson, if you will, of maturing into someone that is able to take that lemon, sit with it, and make lemonade, yes, but also to do it in a way that is growing within. You learn something about yourself. You can then look at that and be more self-deprecating and see how this is going to be a really good story one of these days. It's not much fun right now, but nobody likes to have to fix a flat tire. But it gives you a real glimpse into your strengths and your weaknesses, and there's so much value to be had about self through that kind of adventure, really, if you want to look at it that way, right? Instead of a trial or tribulation, it's really opening a door to some insight about your self-talk and how you bring that forward into something that you want to transcend into or transform into, both really, transcending into that transformation with the help of transcendence. And it is a service to yourself, isn't it? I mean, of course. It's nice. Yeah, that's really nice to figure out how to step into more of a capable you. Okay, let's look at the spirit and nature. The Three of Spades. The True Grit card. This is working it through. Maybe it wasn't just a flat tire. Maybe you got out and tripped and hurt your ankle, and then you broke the gift that you were bringing to the occasion, and one calamity after another, which metaphorically, running into all of the obstacles, this learning curve, this getting there from here, that trip, that landscape of obstacles are all set up to give you that insight that either something isn't right, and what is it? What needs to shift? What's ready? What needs to be let go of? Why or what are you hanging on to that it's just time to move on. It's not serving you anymore. There's something better for you. And as you realize all of this, you don't need the car with the flat tire. You can see where you're going. It's just right there. And you can walk there. And as you're walking there, you understand that that's what life is like. These obstacles pop up, this test of who you are at your core comes up so that you can learn something from it and grow. The Three of Spades is Mars energy and strength energy in the major arcana. So that is you embracing the hardships and becoming stronger for it. Not just stronger. It's not like putting on armor. It's not like that. It's more like the strength of becoming a good, strong, fair, and how you progress and what you bring to the end game for yourself and for others. That sense of maturity and just knowing how to voice and move into a better version of you where you've got it covered, got it going on. Yeah. doing the right thing at the right time in the right place. That's where you get to after experiencing a Three of Spades energy, because this is where you really rise to the challenge. You accept what is in front of you and you just put your mind to it. You get up the gumption, you ready to take action, you're willing and ready, and you somehow, maybe you don't even know how, find the courage to start walking, right? And when you get there with what you've left behind, all the baggage, the dead car, and that kind of weight, right? And you just grab the necessary and set off on foot. Freedom, right? Oh, it just opens you up. I love it. Well, not surprisingly, two more cards came out. I've done Aries and Taurus and Gemini, and here I am with you. And again, two cards. This Gemini energy of the twins is definitely coming through. So the self of undoing part, before I turn these two over, in the house of self-undoing. Now, that is also the place that you go to contemplate misfortunes. It is Pisces house naturally, so it is incredibly close to spirit. It's the last house of the zodiac. So it is a place where you surrender to be guided by source and your spirit guides. So do a little thankful, candle lighting, ritual, speak it out loud, just say thank you in whatever way you want and invite that guidance in. And it'll get you a lot further down the path. All you have to do is ask. They are so ready to help and move you through this transition, this hurdle. It's a little bit of strife in order to become that service to yourself. Nice. All right, let's see what you get for the Lenormand cards. Snake and the Gentleman. Well, the Gentleman brings a nice, open, receptive energy, that the reading resonates with you and that you get the message that is meant for you. So I hope that's true. The snake is to just be watching for any undermining energy that happens to be in your vicinity. Now, this can be yourself and this self-talk and how you are going to move into less of that and more of seeing it as a gift to help you correct it and start taking care of yourself as much as you do everyone else. It might be difficult, and that's why the Three of Spades is here. This is about your self-undoing, what you are moving out of. But until you recognize what that snake is, you won't fully be able to move through it. So take what you can and just understand that you'll get there. Says, vile is the serpent who lulls with a bite. Be not indulgent or slow to the fight. Flee every moment she turns on the charm. This poised opponent will bring you to harm. Be not indulgent or slow to the fight. It's just talking about that same energy that the Three of Spades has, of finding that willingness and courage to take that darker, deeper dive into how you're getting in your own way, basically, bringing yourself to all of this road of obstacles that seem insurmountable, which just keeps you right back in that state of wanting to self-pity. So when you recognize that that is your what do they call that, arc to move into, using it, being grateful for it, understanding that that was a huge part of what work you were to do when you were here or are here, and you're doing it bit by bit by bit. And being that cardinal moon, it's just such a beautiful ability to empathize and just really love yourself through this, carving out some time for you. And remember, not only is this part of what you're here to do, but it's also part of, once you get through this, once you've transcended into a self-observing service to yourself, once you start taking care of yourself as much as you take care of everybody else, things will start to move. Okay. A parting of the waves, like a fog. The fog is lifting, and you are going to be able to see so much clearer that cardinal, bigger vision when you are able to, whatever amount, address this as to what's going on. All right, let's see what you get for the starseed. Yeah, of course, wisdom. See your adversaries as opportunities to expand your spiritual light. Your adversaries. And it is so there with it's the same thing. And to use that wisdom, that of self, that courage to transcend the lower vibration of the self-undoing, whatever self-talk that is, undermining, to keep you. Yeah, it's a big one. It's big. But you can do it because you are expanding your spiritual light. Now, if you have a Three of Spades in your chart, definitely check to see where that is and what you have in your moon placement. And put together a little story for yourself to see if you can't bring whatever this self snake is, or if there is someone in your life that is undermining and keeping you in a service to them, causing you to put yourself second, and how you might intelligently, with wisdom, get yourself out of that situation and into something more fair for you. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, the best of luck. Okay, Leo Moon, let's ask, what is Leo Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Leo Moon best utilize the energies of Gemini and the transiting planets at this time? Optimistic, open-minded, investigating for our own well-being that shifts us into a truer transformation of self and raises our vibrational aura. Leo Moon. This transit happens in your 11th house of family and friends and what you long for most, like wishes. You are fixed fire energy and sun-led. Let's take a look at what the cards are offering for new moon beginnings for you. And I have to say, it is still happening through all of the previous videos. 2 cards have come out in one form or another. And for you, and interestingly, when the Lenormand cards, the deck actually split almost completely in half, and this side turned up this way, while these 2 flew out. And just because we're looking, right, we've got the scythe and the lilies. It's about cutting something out and letting something beautiful in a timely fashion for the lilies. And you've got a spade, a single spade up here. Today's the ace of spades. So these have been some really powerful readings so far. So let's take a look and see what the cards have in store for you for a new beginning with this new moon. All right, let's take a look at the archetype card. Don Juan, perfect for a Leo moon. Light attributes spotlights your positive, seductive qualities. The shadow attribute, using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. Yeah, you have this big, beautiful aura about you. The moon is just such an emotional magnet for who you are. Leo is just this big personality. It's the sign that's here in that 5th house of creativity to really get creative about figuring out who you are, what you want to be, what are your strengths, your weaknesses. It's that strength card in the major arcana. And it is all about you figuring out you and then using it to the best of your abilities for the greater good, obviously. So the Don Juan card, spotlighting your positive, seductive qualities. It's like you could be that charmer, that person that has everything like that you need verbally to express exactly what needs expressing. Yeah, I mean, basically, that's what it is, to open that communication, because we're looking at the transits. We're looking at this new moon beginnings for you. This is this emotional moving through that communications of Gemini. And for you, it is with your friends and families and what you truly, truly hope for, what you wish for, and how you get that, how you go about getting it, with the abilities to kind of talk your way, sweet talk your way around whatever situation you need to get through. Now, whether that is completely 100% truth, or if it's got some manipulations or some undermined Machiavellian type behavior to get what you want. Because it's nice when you've got everybody in a position where they're receptive to you and what you want. That 11th house has its own shadow attributes of subtle or not so subtle manipulations of your friends and your family and arranging that to suit you. So you've got to, this is something to do with you getting that spotlight on how you do that. Okay. I mean, it's not like we don't all do it. I can talk them into something. Or and doing it, forthright, knowingly, bringing that to negotiations and bargaining to the table. But to do it honestly and openly and present a good argument for what you want, what you wish, is the key here. All right, let's see what we get for the Spirit and Nature card. The Jack of Clubs, one of the busiest cards in the deck. Now, it's very creative as well and very inventive. It's Uranus energy. So, the Jacks really have this fast-paced, young energy. But part of their shadow side is being, less than honest, I should say. They can colorfully invent a truth that's close enough in order to get what they want, because Jacks have that silver-tongued aspect of creating, because it's fast-paced, that getting that idea and making that connection of how to get it, and then putting it forth to watch it flourish into a beautiful garden of what they were after. And so there's some of that, and they encompass the aces, 2s and 3 in the club suit. And the 3 is the key card to the club suit. So if you have a Jack of Clubs or an ace or a 2 or a 3 of clubs in your chart, look to that. The aces are that self that you bring to the game, and the 2s are that moon energy, which is, in this case, the black moons are emperor energy, very capable, very strong, very forthright. And then there's the 3 of Mars card, strength, and that really leads back to Leo, that strength card. So if you're encompassing all of that, you are getting this knowledge of an epiphany, of an opportunity to create something original for yourself. Yeah. And real and right, and have everything go in the right direction. Now, incredibly capable, incredibly clever, quick-paced, got a great energy in the days here to do exactly this. And to just understand that the Jack of Clubs is a wordsmith. So it's this energy of being able to sweet talk as a Don Juan any situation to manipulate it for oneself to get what you want. So this is what we're looking at for you here, how you can move into becoming that being of honest, forthright verbiage that you can honestly express who you are and what you want and make it a partnership, if you will, with whoever else is involved, so that it can bring it to this place of, which is really sweet, because it would bring it to this Jack's energy of really taking a huge, giant step forward. It is a business card. So, in a sense, this could take you to a whole new, beautiful leveling up of how you conduct yourself through businessing partnerships, whether that is with friends or family business, right? It could easily be that. And this is who you have carved yourself out to be within the tribe, if you will. But to bring it around for you to really step into a more honest you, even if you feel like you are, there's probably some other level of truth that you can bring to the situation, because the Ace of Clubs is, this card encompasses, is original ideas. So the more that you move into a mature honesty of telling it like it is, gently, beautifully, lovingly, but honestly, the more you can move into this visionary, seeing how to get the answers, the Two of Clubs, for what you need, letting Source guide you, and then, like any seed that you plant and that sprout starts to grow, that connection, and as it's growing, takes on a life of its own, fruition of what you planted. So it's like a creation. Beautiful. Okay, so I don't know what these two cards are, but they did fly out right in the middle of the deck. So let's see what we get. Yeah, the star card, which is basically just allowing Source to come in and guide you, knowing that there is a higher power for you to, and as this is, spotlights your positive, seductive qualities, which, oh my goodness, is so necessary in life sometimes, right? Of course, you need to be able to voice with authority and precision and truth. Can't argue with that. And the lady is just here to see that the message gets through in the best light possible. And here we are with the Ace of Spades. This is today's card that comes up, the day of this new moon, revelations, and just getting this epiphany of self that is a deeper truth about you. It's important, and it is like you understanding the whole picture of what this is, not just a snapshot. You get the panoramic view. It's beautiful. All right, let's see what we get for the starseed. Surrender. Surrender your need to control the outcome. Just be with life in this present moment. That is such an ace thing to say. And it is about surrendering to this bigger revelation, this opening to a new story about how you get there from here and figuring it out along the way. And just such a Jack thing as well, because it is like allowing something to take on a life of its own. It is such a beautiful position to give something the nourishment that it needs, the right soil, enough water, letting it sprout, and just watching it multiply into this beautiful garden that you set the key for. Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, best of luck. Okay, Virgo Moon, let's ask, what is Virgo Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Virgo Moon best utilize the energies of Gemini and the transiting planets at this time? Optimistic, open-minded, investigating for our own well-being that shifts us into a truer transformation of self and raises our vibrational aura. Virgo Moon, this transit happens in your 10th house of career and life path, the ecliptic. You are mutable earth energy and Mercury led. So let's see what the cards are offering for a new moon beginning for you. And without fail, every reading thus far has spit out 2 cards of something really strong Gemini energy. And for you, we got 2 of the archetype cards. So we're going to turn these over and have a look to see where you are being invited to take a look. Now, remember, this is your 10th house. This is your ecliptic path. So check your chart to see what you have there for a card. And we'll consider that as well. Shapeshifter and the Queen. So the shapeshifter, skills at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. It's quite a Gemini thing, isn't it? Shadow attributes, projecting any image that serves your personal agenda at the moment. Okay. And the Queen, light attributes, radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. The shadow attributes become arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. That would be, yes. So what I'm getting is that this Queen energy, like you're moving into a more feminine, softer quality of how to govern, if you will, those around you. Now, queens, they are there to do the heavy lifting. They often are portrayed as the woman behind the man, in a public or political setting, kings and queens. But oftentimes, the queen is the one that steps in and has that cultured maturity that really allows for the nitty-gritty, realistic truth to cut through all of the bullshit of any situation and any kind of shape-shifting baloney that is going on in her court. It's very, very difficult to step into a queen's shoes and try to manipulate the people around you. It brings that verse of you can fool some of the people all of the time and all of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. So for a queen, you really need to stay in your authority as well. To shapeshift within that really undermines your queenliness, that all-encompassing truth. I mean, when you look at the queen energy in the cards of truth, you've got the abilities of the 4s, 5s, and 6s. You really have to pay attention to the end goal and to understand that when something comes in to your realm, I'm just going to keep using the queen metaphors, but into your realm, your court, your kingdom, when something comes in, you immediately have the queenly ability to see that it's what it's worth. That's that 4, to see how improvements can be made to benefit everyone, and then go about doing it, and then creating something that is unique and of its own and taking care of itself and flourishing under the care of said queen. Wow, this is your life path we're talking about here. Stepping into queen shoes and stepping out of feeling the need to be anything other than completely honest, having all of your presentation ready, having something thoroughly thought through and counseled about. Now, this can be your realm of people, but you know it has to start with you and the realm within. Okay, so we also understand that Virgo and your moon are Mercury led, so it is about that communication amongst your tribe, your kingdom, and how you communicate the truth in that queenly way, because the queens also are this ultimate mother figure as well, doing the right thing at the right time, in the right measure, having thought it all the way through, and understanding sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself and your wants and your needs for the bigger picture of all, right? Like good parenting. Sometimes parents just have to sacrifice their love of something, the vacation, or how it is when your child becomes ill and you've got that big project put together for tomorrow. You're not going to let the child suffer. Nope. And you somehow manage to get it all done anyway. Yeah, like that. This is a big deal for you because it is life path we're looking at here. This is in your 10th house. It's the midheaven. So see what you've got going on there for your ecliptic and what the card is and where and what is in your 10th house. Where did in the chart did that land? That will look like the letter I for you in the cards of truth, and see what card you have there as well. And we'll see what queenly realm kingdom you are going to be moving into with all of this upgrade to who you are and how you go about being you. Getting what you want out of shape shifting and into a real clear role. That's not easy. All right. Ooh, 7 of clubs. Yeah, something's got to go. Something gives. And it's intellectually oriented and can certainly be something of that shape-shifting baloney that needs to be really thrown away and gone for a better meat source. Maybe move on to vegetables, right, and fruit. Less meat. Yeah. So the 7 of clubs is this gateway card. Just perfect for stepping into a new role in this lifetime, into different shoes, putting on a new you to become the next you. It's very much a butterfly metaphor for transitioning out of what once was, what shape you were, and shifting into a new reality. It changes you. So you may be looking at actually changing your look. You may be coming into a whole new butterfly you, which can be pretty big. It's as if you are leaving your home as a teenager, moving into a new persona of who you want to be in college, where nobody knows you, so you can reinvent yourself. And then after college, you reinvent yourself again in order to move into a career, and this is your career, of what is next for you, where you want to go, who you want to be. Cool. See if you have any 7 of clubs in your chart and see where that might take you as well. You can add that to the story that you're putting together for yourself for this new moon and how you're going to create that butterfly shift for who you are, even if you're not graduating from college or high school or moving out of the home. It could be more like possibly even a move to a new city, bringing all of your family and love with you. But you still need to move into a new version of you. Okay, interesting. So continuing with that Mercury energy that we are in right now. Communications, all the way, open, honest communication. All right, well thought out and queenly done. That's what you get for Lenormand. The garden, oh, it's beautiful, because that is like your realm. That is your secure place to hold court. The garden is like a court. I love this. This is so beautiful for you. All right, let's see what we get for the starseed. Truth, of course. See your light, know your power, have the courage to walk your truth. It's perfectly okay to reinvent yourself and expect those around you to support you in it. This is your growth. This is your time. You're moving forward into a new version of you. Doesn't mean you leave the old version behind. It means that you take with you what you need and leave what you don't. Another attribute of the Seven of Clubs. You are moving out of what doesn't serve you any longer and moving into a brighter, cleaner, less heavy you. Now, as I said, sevens are that gateway card. So you are moving out of the trappings of the gravity of your life as you know it and moving into a more spiritually led, defining definition of you. Okay, cool. Well, there you have it, Virgo. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, the best of luck. Okay, Libra Moon, let's ask, what is Libra Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Libra Moon best utilize the energies of Gemini and the transiting planets at this time? Optimistic, open-minded, investigating for our own well-being that shifts us into a truer transformation of self and raise our vibrational aura. Libra Moon, this transit happens in your 9th house of higher education and travel, mind and or body. You are cardinal, air, and Venus led. So let's see what the cards are offering for new moon beginnings for you. And meanwhile, Venus is very happy right now with this transiting into Gemini. It really kind of opens up for you and for this Gemini energy to take on a more educated sense of what's good for you, what really will make the difference in what you value and how you value something, bringing in that thing of value, whether that be emotional or physical in some way. Ensconcing yourself in all that beautiful, warm loveliness. And just to every single reading, more than one card of one of these has popped out without fail. For you, we got 2 spirit and nature cards. So we'll look at those together when we get to them. But meanwhile, we're going to take a look to see where your 9th house energy here with that transiting planet of higher education and that visionary for you, especially being of that cardinal energy, being Libra, moon, and season changer. It's about seeing the bigger picture for your own transformation into something more spiritually well-rounded adventure, because all of that is that 9th house, moving into a true intelligence that is definitely an upgrade And of course, we're looking at your emotional scape of this because of the moon energy. So, big upgrade in how you intellectually break it down for yourself emotionally. All right, let's see what you get for the archetype. Trickster. Light attributes, transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. Shadow attribute, manipulating others through duplicity. The magician. Yeah, trickster. You may be learning that sleight of hand or that hypnotic speech that allows you to glide into something that you want, right? So, trickster behavior. All right, well, ninth house, education and travel for your body and your mind, or both. Well, it certainly talks about transcending convention. There's something really lovely and inviting and surprising for, popping something out of a hat, out of your pocket, out of the blue, to be able to allow spirit to just give you something that you download and channel in the moment, not so much to, to bring it to a place where it's accessible to people on a level that it's the right time and the right place. Okay. And because it's Libra, right? Your Libra moon. So we're looking at that, how to balance the introvert and the extrovert experience of how you decipher your emotional needs, bringing that to balance, because Libra can be in that deciding what you're feeling, because it's your moon, emotionally, until it's too late, right? You can, and in a way that can be self protection, so that you don't have to make a decision about something emotionally fraught with emotions. Okay, all right. Let's see where we go with the spirit and nature. The Two of Hearts and the Queen of Clubs. So the Two of Hearts is just as you would think. It is making an emotional connection. Having it available, it is a chance to connect with something that is really beautifully available to you. It is being super fertile with this creative energy that the heart suits have. And it is an opportunity for real love, like a fertile union. It is the Empress card in the major arcana. And you know what the Empress is. She's usually depicted as pregnant and just incredibly ready to flourish whatever is happening in your situation at the time. So it's a great card for you to get. And it's moon energy, so perfect for you that this is coming up at this time. It is more of a softer, quieter, more gentle female or feminine energy. It brings with it this empathetic harmony to it. Now, queens encompass the 4s, 5s, and 6s of the same suit. So we're looking at the club suit, and the 4 of clubs is one of the most stable cards in the deck. It is the 5 of clubs, really taking something intellectually and defining it into what it needs to be, seeing the diamond in the rough. And then the 6 of clubs, which is bringing that truth, because the 6 of clubs is a healer through the truth, being able to voice that truth. So we're looking at the Hierophant with the 4 of clubs. That's that old school, endless, vast knowledge of the universe, just ready to be downloaded. Think of the Empress here, fertility. And the 5 of clubs, we're looking at Jupiter energy. Jupiter just moving out of that Cassimi, where it's a rebirth, it's a phoenix rising into Gemini for a year. And it's not altogether happy there, because Jupiter just wants you to trust and jump in. But Mercury and Gemini want to sort it through. They like the story. They don't want to just read the ending. So it's that kind of energy that, and it's a story about delivering the truth. Like the 6 of clubs is, it's the Venus energy, and Venus is super happy being where it is. It's Libra moon energy as well, run by Venus, would be your natural planet, ruling planet, and it's the Lovers in the major arcana. The Lovers, if you think about that, it is making good choices, not only for yourself, but for others, which is definitely in the Queen's wheelhouse. So to do that in a way that is honest and inventive, curious, listening and channeling source, and bringing that kind of fertility to, and queen stature. The Queen of Clubs, all queens are incredibly creative, and all of them are run by Neptune, that parting of the veil, and incredibly intuitive. Now, this one, being clubs, is around education and academia and being really energetic. She's one of the most energized queens. Now, it's good judgment, it's being reliable, it's being inspired and inspiring. It's either giving good counsel or getting good counsel. There's a whole philosophy around this, which is perfect for the 9th house that this is happening in your chart. Absolutely perfect for this, because there is also mature, studious, disciplined outcome, that very grounded, very spot on, very self-contained, very self-assured, and delivering it just the way it needs to. And this all behind something incredibly fertile and moon-led. Okay. Wow. Wonder what it is, right? This is like you stepping into this new story of who you are. And it could mean that you travel for this during this time. Maybe take in a convention or some kind of event where you get more in touch with your creative downloads from source, which is basically what is asking you to do, because what it's going to lead to being in this ninth house of higher education, you're just setting yourself up for another better avenue to channel what needs to come through for guidance and prosperity, really. Connections of the heart in an intelligent way. All right, let's see what you get for the Lenormand. You got the mice. So there's going to be some undermining behavior that you'll have to get through in order to allow this to happen. Maybe that is you see the need to travel somewhere and take part in some event, either mentally or physically, right? You just got to carve out a block of time for yourself to step into another investigation of how you can do this for yourself. Move from being tempted into manipulation and taking shortcuts, or really kind of settling into the spontaneity that this Mercury is bringing through at this time. There'll be people being surprised and wanting to, well, the mice steal from you. So they'll want to use your ideas. They might, what is that, when they drift or off of something that you are inventing at this time. So be very careful and guarded that you don't overshare whatever is coming through for you. Really sort it through before you share that. And as this queen also encompasses counseling, make sure that you sift through what is being offered to you. Take it from its source, right? Know where it comes from, because when you begin this, it really needs to be considered from whence it came. All right? All right. That just lets you be more clear about where you're going when you see something like this. Okay. All right. Let's see what we get for the starseed vision. Trust in your ability to create the vision in your soul. Yeah. Don't let anybody mislead you or try to undermine so that they can steal your good ideas. This is for you. All right? All right. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, the best of luck. Okay, Scorpio Moon, let's ask, what is Scorpio Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Scorpio Moon best utilize the energies of Gemini and the transiting planets at this time? Optimistic, open-minded, investigating for our own well-being. That shifts us into a truer transformation of self and raises our vibrational aura. Scorpio Moon, this transit is happening in your 8th house, your home dwelling, the house of the occult sciences, mysteries, looking deep into the mysteries of life, you know. I know you know. All right, so you are fixed water energy and Mars led. So I always say about Scorpio, they're quiet waters run deep and get very turbulent at times. There's a lot going on under the surface for Scorpios. And that's a good thing, and it's a challenging thing, and that is what you are here to figure out. And I take that 8th house as past lives and future lives and what you signed up for to do in this lifetime. Being emotionally fixed with that energy of the sign really takes it to a new kind of stubborn. And when you've got that as a moon sign, it is doubly loaded with all of that emotional want and need for something to be a particular way. It can color your entire existence. Okay. And 2 cards, yes, I know you're probably already seeing that. And every single reading thus far, 2 cards have popped out in one of the categories here, one of the piles. And for you, we got 2, spirit and nature. So let's take a look at your archetype card and see where you are being asked to consider. All right. Artist, light attributes, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the 5 senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. That sounds so like you. Being of that magical mystery, occult, it is so deep in what we often feel at our depth, but it's so difficult to lift and bring out as a verbally or even as a symbolically, right? That it's talking about here. The shadow attributes is using the talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. So when they say artist, I take that way, way, way beyond the painter or the writer, even though those are true and those can be a part of someone that isn't into the arts. For instance, you can be a salesman that you could call an artist because they are just so good at what they're doing, being inspiring others to see life symbolically, giving someone a vision that they're lusting after or wanting or needing to fulfill something within them. And you, as a Scorpio moon, understand that depth, and having it be kind of locked away and unable to reach sometimes. But for a Scorpio moon, understanding it is just the tip of the iceberg. You got to dig deeper. You've got to open it up. You've got to, I always think of the lotus blossom just popped in as a visual, the root system that has to go so deep and get into the mucky mire. But what rises from that, all the richness, all of the everything that fantastically gorgeous, gorgeous lotus blossom can bloom from. This is talking about finding and channeling that nutrient from the emotional turmoil to bring that to the table for someone and for yourself. These readings are for self. With that attached, once you get this for yourself, you are then able to be less self-involved And then you can practice giving it to others. It's a beautiful, beautiful gift. Okay, I think we've got that one. Let's see what you get for the two, Spirit and Nature. They popped out at the same. This one did land on top. Not that it matters, but let's see what we get. Oh, gee, this is cool. 6 of Clubs, that's the healer through the Truth card. Healing your own self through the truth. Finding it for others. I see this as that Sagittarius card, really, where it's out of your mouth before you even realize you've blurted it. You thought you were thinking it in your head. And it's done. And it rings true. That's this card. But it also is a card that needs that fermenting, or that initiative, or the impetus to allow that feeling, that thought, that truth to sink in and come from a truer, cleaner, more pointed place. That's the 6 of Clubs, intellectually at the top of your game. When you hit that on the button, there's no better way to get it. The 4 of Spades is just giving you that time. It's a timeout card. I call it the bed, the bath, the bus, because you're sitting, you can't do anything else. You're getting this moment of this is what you're doing, and it gives you time to think, which is sometimes troubling if you are a Scorpio and depth of your emotions are too much to entertain. You grab your phone, you get on the computer, you look at a book, turn on the TV, anything to distract you from this, getting to this, processing this. Yeah, the 4 of Spades is an interesting card to get here because it is asking you to take the time when you are finding yourself in those in-between moments of getting from one place to another, mentally and or physically, to take that and to bring it to self. It's a card of finding out your peace within, like PEACE, and taking that time for that, finding the peace through reflection of what's going on, what emotionally is at the top of the list for you. It's paying attention to it. I find that with very deep, emotionally, even mostly fixed signs, the water signs, and that's you, as well as sun rising or whatever anybody has in Scorpio, it gets attached to that fixed emotional water energy. And it's difficult to go there because that's where the real nitty-gritty lives. So it takes a little meditation. It takes a little bit of looking at it as if it's a time to recoup, like a recuperating. And that's why I put the cast on his foot and he's looking at his watch. It's a masculine energy. But what's needed here is rest and relaxation, recuperate. In the books, Manifest, The Elixir of Life, and Meditation. Each in good measure to reach this truth that is basically you, for you, because it's a you reading. But as they suggest, this is once you get the hang of it, this, then you can take it and have it at the ready for the people around you when you need it. All right. Okay, let's move on to the Lenormand, the coffin. Yeah, this is just putting an end to something. Maybe the chatter in your head. It feels like this again is telling you to take the time you need to sort through this process for yourself, because you do want to be that artist with words, basically, right? An artist with words to sort through the emotional goopy mire of that lotus blossom from whence it blossoms. So yes, emotional depth, to take that, to create something with the truth of it, and have that in your toolbox. That's really nice. And to be told that, I mean, you've got plenty of time. It's like almost till the day you die. It's got that connotation. It just popped in, but it popped in as to say something funny. I don't know about that. Depends on where you are, you know. But it can also mean the death of one way of doing things and the rebirth of something new. And that is what this new moon is indicating. Jupiter is finally on the other side, Phoenix rising. This is a new rebirth for you. And it is about you learning from your own experiences to be truthful with self. Take the time you need to find that truth, understand it, put it away so that you can help. And well, first of all, you now have a process to process the emotions, which takes you very far. And you also are able to give that as a gift to others, which will also take you very far. This is a perfect way to raise your vibration and therefore be present to do it for others. All right, let's see what you get for the Starseed card. Courage. Live your life fearlessly with courage, strength, and determination. Yeah, you know, when you know the truth, you know the truth. And there you have it. It gives you courage, doesn't it? You know it. You're one of these signs that feel it on a gut level when something's right. So take that with you and keep it in your pocket, and you've got sunshine. All right. Thank you so much for being here, and as always, best of luck. Okay, Sagittarius Moon, let's ask, what is Sagittarius Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Sagittarius Moon best utilize the energies of Gemini and the transiting planets at this time? Optimistic, open-minded, investigating for our own well-being. That shifts us into a truer transformation of self and raise our vibrational aura. Sagittarius Moon, this transition is happening in your 7th house of partnerships, love or business. You are mutable, fire energy, and Jupiter led. Jupiter is coming out of its Cassini, and it is the Phoenix rising. It is just in the beginning stages of that. It's going to take a little time, not too much. I believe it's something like a couple of weeks or a couple of months, something like that. So during this time, it is fertile for reinvention, especially for you being Jupiter led. So let's take a look at what the cards are offering for a new moon beginning for you. Mentor, the light attributes, passing on wisdom, refining a student's character. Shadow attributes, inability to allow the student to move on to the role of master, imparting false instruction. Well, several things came to me as I was reading that. One is that passing on wisdom and refining a student's character, that student can be anyone that you are finding yourself having a conversation with. The mentor is just someone who wants to make a difference in people's lives in the best way possible. There's so much that needs to be taken into consideration when you go about departing information that you feel is valuable, right? Well, who is it that's receiving or on the receiving end of that? Did they even ask? Do they want it? Is that what this relationship is about? Or is it a two-way street? Are you giving too much? How is it being received? Who's it with? I mean, this goes deep. Hopefully, you, as the mentor, understand the wherewithal of where you are imparting this wisdom and to who and to when. The shadow attributes with that inability to allow the student to move on. Now, that is just ego, right? You want to be held in high regard. It is feel good. It's feeling like you're making a difference. But to be honest with the whole thing, having Sagittarius moon, it's joyful. It wants to jump in. It doesn't want to have to think about it too much. It just wants to be rolling with it and tossing out the flowers out of a basket as the happy couple walk down the aisle. That's you. Every blossom, every petal is a word of wisdom to impart on whoever picks one up. It's almost like a download for every petal. Best case scenario, in a scenario of a mentor position, it is finding the joy, and Jupiter is joy, finding the joy that expands you, finding the joy in understanding most where your need comes from and why. Obviously, that's huge because you need to figure out where that need comes from. Is it to build yourself up, or are you caught off guard when someone pops in and it's like, I can't figure this out? You got to help me. Is that a part that you play, that role in someone's life? And in that case, I'm thinking about children or grandchildren or partners or friends, or that mentorship is in one hand, a sense of taking care of someone, but you can't allow that to happen to your own detriment, overly giving. So I guess that's the first measure of figuring out what part of you that gives advice, where is that coming from? Because I can see that even being as a self-preservation kind of a thing. If you are in a relationship that's valuable to you in some way, emotionally, financially. Yeah, many ways. Ego-wise, soul-led. Who knows what your chart is driving you to pursue giving advice to anybody about anything. All right, well, let's keep that in mind. You decide where it is that you find yourself in this position of being asked for advice or just giving advice without being asked. And think about where the root of that comes from. And let's look at the spirit and nature. The Five of Diamonds. Well, it is about figuring out the value of what you are sharing. Now, I call this the feng shui card because there's a whole lot of consideration that goes into what you value. Does it balance? Does it fit the need? Is it in the right quadrant? Is it enough energy? All of those wherewithals before you open your mouth to impart your wisdom. Yeah, the Five of Diamonds is an interesting card because this is also Jupiter energy. And it's justice energy. So, justice being that, what goes around comes around, and it's you understanding you to the point where you're almost as to be held accountable for what you are sharing as thought from your Jupiter based moon, right? It's interesting, isn't it? Do you see where the joy can be found? Maybe you have a real knack for finding that and you're very good at it. And what this card is saying is that it just simply needs to be fleshed out, like weeded and allowed to get all of the nutrients around it so that it can blossom and grow even more so. You're doing a great job with this mentorship. You've thought all about that. You know it's coming from a good place. And now you are putting the finishing touches on it, getting really top notch, top of the game, straight from source. Yeah, that would be very cool. I would wish that for you, very much so. But if you're not there yet, that's where you want to head. And true to every reading, 2 cards are popping out of at least one of these decks. For you, we got 2 from the Lenormand. So let's see what else we've got here for you. The letter and the fox. All right, so the letter is simply correspondence. So whatever you're reading, pay close attention. Have you been kind of thinking about maybe reading? For this reading, it would be pretty sweet to do some psychology or how people receive. There's a whole thing around being 4 different types of people. And when you are in that mentorship, it can be very much like a teaching position, and each student would be coming from a different point of view. You've got the aggressive one where they just want to get the information and not have anything filtered. There's the pleaser that thinks about, what everybody's going to think about them if they learn it and how they learn it. They want to make sure they're learning it in the best way to be received. Then there's the, the intellectual that wants every little scrap of information to put into it. And there's also the passionate one that just wants to grab it all and have fun with it. So, correspondence, go and see. Maybe it's something about feng shui that could help you. It might also have something to do with just how to maximize what it is you're doing. And maybe it's actually learning to do something new, like interior design or whatever your business, to feng shui it. I mean, that word just keeps coming through for you. Like it needs its balance, it needs to be thought, it needs to be cleared out. Things need to be very thought through before you bring something in, that kind of thing. Because all of it's going to reflect on who you are as a mentor. All right. And the fox is just being really either smart about it, being very clever. It could also mean that you've got someone in your vicinity, your peeps, your tribe, your home, that likes to undermine, that might be a little jealous. This could be friends, this could be colleagues, it could be just somebody you run into on the street that you really have no connection with, and they just decide they don't like the way you look. They're just that. They are just that. And they want to dim your light. Well, don't let them. When you find somebody like that, it is another whole interesting way to stand up for yourself and mentor that, right? Because what if you're someone that has someone close that you know to be this tricky trickster, right? Sly and pretending to be a friend, a frenemy, right? Is that it? Frenemy. And what would you say to someone like that that's trying to undermine and trying to dim your light? I've been in work situations where that took place, and I actually had to call them out. It was very uncomfortable, but I have Sagittarius rising, and it is this gush of truth that was just present and ready to impart on them. It actually felt pretty good. Yeah. All right. I think you got it. Yeah. I mean, it is doing what you're doing, making it pretty, and getting comfortable in that to depart wisdom in this very clever, beautiful way. I mean, I love foxes, and I don't see them as that deception. I see them as needing to do that in order to evade being caught or devoured by hounds. So you do have to be clever. All right. And it does say to beware of old traps that can be within your own psyche. So be on the lookout for that. It's a good thing to question in how you're doing this. It can be about therapy too. All right, that just came through. And being, okay, they want me to mention like psychology and the books on that sort of thing. Okay, all right, here we go. Starseed, surrender. Surrender your need to control the outcome. Just be with life in this present moment. So feng shui. Yes. I mean, it is a learned gravity to get in that secure place where you're just doing it out of the goodness of your heart and it's right. Okay, there you have it. Thank you so much for being here, and as always, best of luck. Okay, Capricorn Moon, let's ask, what is Capricorn Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Capricorn Moon best utilize the energies of Gemini and the transiting planets at this time? Optimistic, open-minded, investigating for our own well-being. That shifts us into a truer transformation of self, raising our vibrational aura. Capricorn Moon, this transit is happening in your 6th house of health and problem solving. You are a cardinal earth energy and Saturn led. Let's take a look at what the cards are offering for a new moon beginning for you. I swear every reading, 2 cards have popped out, and you got 2 of the archetype cards. So we're going to read them both as one and see where we are being invited to look. So we have the Seeker, light attributes, thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. Shadow, inability to commit to a path once found. That's like, I always see this card as getting into spiritualism just to keep you there as like an addiction, if you will. You never actually land on anything or just say enough is enough and move on into a more grounded lifestyle. The storyteller, light attributes, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. The shadow attribute, making up tales that harm others. So being able to be a wordsmith, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. So, that could be any kind of visual or audio kind of receptive thing going, or both, right? Because you want to be able to, with picture or with sound, be able to tell a story. And the Seeker is just having that thirst for wisdom and truth wherever you are. And you can do that as a boots to the ground kind of seeker. It's not something that you can actually do. Well, mentally you can, but physically you have to get off the meditation cushion and go and experience life and seek it from other ways than your nose in a book or on the cushion. Oh, that's all great, but that's not where you want to spend the majority of your life, because you've got to commit to something. Try it on, even if it's for a little while and you decide that that's not going to be you, or you take from it what you see fit and move on with life. I once did I am a Capricorn moon, so I'm right here with you. And I'm very spiritually led. And I did a course on religions one time, way, way back. I think it might have been at least 40 years ago. More, I think. More like 45. And in my early 30s, and I decided that I just was curious. I was thinking about Buddhism and realizing where it came from, Taoism, and I went down this whole it was interesting because it was taught at the Unitarian Church, and they just kind of hit on every single religion and its origin, and it was done very well. They weren't trying to push you in any direction in particular. It was just imparting the knowledge and wisdom of certain religions, all of them. And I decided upon Taoism because I really like the yin yang symbol of balance. And it's what I really needed at that time. And it helped, but I have since incorporated a lot of different things and brought them all together in an energy shifting and healing kind of way, bringing something to fruition, manifesting through that knowledge that all religions eventually lead you to source. There's only one source, and it's a soup. All right, let's see what the spirit and nature has in store. The Eight of Spades. Yeah, it's really just that having that time to realize that here on Earth, we are so connected, right? It's that gravity. This is perfect for Capricorn because of the Saturn and the earthy gravity and the cardinal vision. You can see he's like, calling in the transformation, manifesting powers that be straight from source, all the while being grounded, flourishing, this wealth of thought. To do what? To share, because this is also a pathfinder. You are on the path, and it's a marker that you are on the right path. That's where you want to be. There is hope in the world, and you just have to stay in that open to receiving and moving through whatever is on your path. So I guess it's all about that. Really understanding that you can't stop seeking, that you got to get off the cushion to do it, and therefore be able to convey an experience, a story that is, I can't think of the type of story, like a fable. Everything's got a metaphor in the end. So Capricorn. Right? All right. But it's more, having that grounded maturity for your moon, your emotional moon. I so appreciate it. It's the only earth in my chart, is my Capricorn moon in the first house. Even though I'm Sagittarius, because I'm on the cusp. Okay. Sagittarius rising. All right, let's see what we have for the Lenormand, the bear. Yeah, this is just another gravity card to bring your values to fruition and to take care of them, to understand the value around it and how to use your wisdom and to spend your resources, whatever those are, with care. This is really a pretty powerful and strong, and it says use your power to be strong and fair. And it takes time to figure that out, especially if you're like me with so little earth and lots of air in your chart. All right. I think I got it. All right, let's see what we get for the starseed. starseed. Raise the vibration of the planet through your radiant, loving light. Yes, absolutely. We get there from here. I know. Yep. Okay. Well, I think that's it. And best of luck. And as always, thank you for being here. Okay, Aquarius Moon, let's ask, what is Aquarius Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Aquarius Moon best utilize the energies of Gemini and the transiting planets at this time? Optimistic, open-minded, investigating for our own well-being. That shifts us into a truer transformation of self and raises our vibrational aura. Aquarius Moon, this transit is happening in your 5th house of how you might get creative in how you are doing you. The house of creativity. You are fixed air and Saturn led. Let's see what the cards are offering you for a new moon beginning. Now, at least every single reading, 2 cards have popped out of one of the decks. For you, it has been the Lenormand. So when we get there, we'll see what those 2 cards have to share. But let's take a look at the archetype card first. See where you are being invited to get creative. Athlete. Light attributes, dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, and strength of spirit. Shadow attributes, misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends, false sense of invulnerability and entitlement. Ooh, this is definitely an ego-driven card. The shadow attributes, anyway. Yeah, false sense of invulnerability and entitlement. Well, that would be describing someone that hasn't really had to deal with anything very heavy. It comes around and you can't really put yourself in those shoes until you are in those shoes. It's a weird way to do it. But it also, I mean, it's just life, isn't it? And you can't live and experience emotions that are secondhand. It's got to be a first-hand thing. You can sympathize and empathize, but until you are actually experiencing it yourself, yeah. So that is to keep in mind with what we are looking at here, because what we really want is someone that is appreciative of other people's worries and disabilities, and understanding that we all come to this world with something to work on. Dedication to transcending the physical limits, meaning if you have any handicaps or whatever physical body that you have, meaning that we're not all gorgeous and pretty and, you know, a lot of us are challenged by our DNA and ancestry, meaning that physical limits could be how you look, and meaning that it's like, don't judge a book by its cover. All right, thank you for that, because I felt like I was struggling. It's sad that that happens to be a truth in our world. However, I think once you realize that, and, for me, it came when I was, gosh, I think I might have been like 10, and we moved around a lot. So I moved into another school, and there was a young classmate who was very ill, and she ended up dying that year, which opened this whole world for me in that eighth house of death and dying and longevity and thinking about that. And she was very frail, very unhealthy looking. I think it was leukemia or something in the end. And yeah, it took her. And that reminded me of every time I saw someone that was disfigured in some way, maybe scars on their face or missing arms or legs or fingers or something. It taught me that that didn't define them, that inside their spirit was still there, wanting that development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. Some of us are just handed really, really difficult situations here. So what you have to move into for yourself is that personal willpower and strength of spirit in order to just be able to be present and show up. All right. Not sure why, but as an Aquarius moon, that big thinking, right? You are air energy, and really with this fifth house of creativity, this is being offered to spend some time thinking about that and how you interact with people. Okay. I guess that's it. They don't really want me to expand on that. Hopefully I'm doing a pretty good job for you, because I feel like in these turbulent times, we are all labeling and forgetting that we are all souls here on a collective effort to help planet Earth and raise the vibration of the consciousness to see everyone as an equal and having a right to live a happy life. And that's not always easy when you're dealing with people who are feeling very selfish and entitled and think their way is the right way. So it's that kind of energy that needs to be dealt with. And how are you doing that when you run up against that kind of energy? Okay. Spirit and nature, the Queen of Diamonds. Yeah, I mean, she's great. This is feminine strength at its finest. Creative, too. You are in the house for it today, for the next 2 weeks. Now, the Queen of Diamonds, all queens encompass the 4s, 5, and 6 of their suit. So you've got the 4 of Diamonds. That is the key card for the diamond suits, the 4-sided diamond. It's stability. It's finding that worth of something, diamond, and knowing the skills and the talents for it, an abundance of it. So this is the fifth, the Five of Diamonds, is understanding what needs to get polished and picking through the basket of possibilities, and everything has a possibility and you see that possibility, yet there's one that stands out more than the other, suggesting that it is a one at a time, seeing the value of something and going about putting the polish on it to bring it to that Six of Diamonds, which is highly intuitive, highly connected to source, just channeling like a champ, understanding in a heartbeat what needs to be. Success, it's what's needed. It is double checking your values, and it is all about abundance. Coming away with abundance. Now, you want to get something done, you give it to the Queen. The Queen of Diamonds is confident, she's cultured, she's realistic, she's capable, incredibly attractive, magnetic, just an aura of warmth that you're drawn to. However, that's the outward thing. She's also very clever with the maneuvers. She's not above being controversial. I do like that. But she's forthright and she's thrifty, and it's all the good things. What you want to stay away from is, in the shadow attributes, would be being a controller and domineering, aggressive, and unscrupulous, manipulation, that kind of thing. So don't go underground with what you're doing. Understand that you can't take things as face value. You've got to look beyond the package, the book. You know, maybe it got a really bad cover in the publishing powers that be, and yeah, the cover stinks, but you know, the book itself is magnificent, and that's where you want to go with this. Okay, let's see what you get for the two Lenormand cards. The Lilies and the Tower. Well, the Tower speaks directly to this Queen and how you would present yourself. I mean, you can show up. You know, I always think of this Queen as like dressing hip and powerful and knowing simplicity. It's like I was saying the other day to someone that you could go both ways with how you show up physically. I mean, taking care of yourself, yes, and ending up with whatever that looks like for you. And, you know, it doesn't have to mean this kind of body. It just means that you're healthy. Dressed, I mean, you can show up in sweatpants and I don't know what those shoes are. Those clogs. I can't remember, but they're big and they're super comfy. I don't have any, but you could show up in that with a sloppy t-shirt, or you could just find a nice, beautiful, wide leg pant and find a nice, comfortable sandal and Crocs. That's the word. And, you know, you could show up in something that you want to portray, is all wrapped up in that. And that is the Tower as well. So if you are looking into how to emotionally wrap your mind around stepping into a better, brighter, shiny you, then this is the perfect thing for you. And the Lilies is really a nice one here as well, because it says that the outlook is bright and passion abounds. It's like a bouquet of you and your essence. And it's all in your hands. This is for you to do. It is really feeling what you need and having the wherewithal to start to get yourself there. Change for the better. Healthy, mentally and physically. Lovely. All right, that's what you get for the starseed. Inner alchemy. Okay, it starts there, doesn't it? Inner alchemy is achieved when you react to fear with love. Yeah, sure, there's going to be a little bit of that. Where do I take it? What are people going to say? Or, all of that. But you know what? Don't give a what. Just go for it. Do what's best for you. Feel it through. Start making those changes, whether it's something that you want to just tweak the way you're feeling, maybe putting on some dance music and upping the happy vibration, or it can go as so far as to signing up for therapy. That's okay too. Going to the gym, getting a trainer, or to start walking around the block. It is for you to decide, but it is to boost who you are from the inside so that you can present better and bring forth that light to the outside. All right. Thank you for being here, and as always, best of luck. Okay, Pisces Moon, let's ask, what is Pisces Moon ready to receive and practice receiving over the next 2 weeks? And how can Pisces Moon best utilize the energies of Gemini and the transiting planets at this time? Optimistic, open-minded, investigating for our own well-being. That shifts us into a truer transformation of self and raising our vibrational aura. Pisces Moon, this transit is happening in the 4th house. That's skills required for work, it's exercise and siblings, it's teammates and ambition, courage, short distance travel. And it's the house of home and family. So you are mutable water energy and Jupiter led. Let's see what the cards are offering for you for a new moon beginning. So every single reading had 2 cards from one deck pop out, but you, my last reading, got 2 from both of these. So we're going to look at them both. True to Gemini season. I love it. I'm happy with this. I think it's been a great reading, and here we go for you. So let's see that 4th house of home and family and all kinds of other things. Siblings, teammates, ambition, courage. All right, let's find out what we've got. Healer. Ooh, this is big. Light attributes, passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit. Ability to help transform pain into healing. Shadow attributes, taking advantage of those who need help, failing to care for oneself. Yeah, this is that. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Be prepared. Have it ready in the pocket. Knowing that being that connected you, that mutable water energy, Jupiter led, this is you coming out of that Kasimi, that rebirth, the phoenix rising of Jupiter this month. And it is coming into Gemini, where it's not particularly happy, because Gemini wants to discuss everything and sort it through and figure it out. And as I said in the intro, Gemini wants to plan the whole trip and do everything on the list and have a complete story in the end. Jupiter just wants to get to the destination. If it could take an airplane, it would. And completely missing the joy of a road trip. Or the disasters or whatever, but in the road trip is the story, and that is where you gather all of the intelligent experiences to share, right? So, healer, bringing it home base, whatever that looks like. You could see that fourth house as your safe place as well, and you may have several homes, or you may be a gypsy, it's like a turtle. You carry it on your back. It's you. It is your vessel of you and how you take care of the home within. I see that as the fourth house. All right. Let's see what you get for the spirit and nature. Ooh, okay. So your two cards is destiny. Very interesting. So do check your ecliptic and see what you have there. And if you have a 3 of hearts, this reading is definitely for you. But the 3 of hearts is about getting creative. It's about having a lighter heart around things. So this is something that just needs to be tweaked a little bit, to be well-rounded, to be moved into a more professional or comforty, whatever that means for you. It is definitely preparing the emotional state for what you need for emotional growth. So whether that be you as a temple, a vessel to put that into the shape that it needs to be to receive that kind of upgrade to your emotional health, well-being. It's Mars energy, it's temperance energy, so it's finding that balance, that alchemy within. It is, once you're able to do that, just getting ready to do it opens you for that fertility that temperance brings. And it's also a small wish granted. So think of something like help or whatever, because this is an upgrade. It is a therapy if you want to do that by your own means, reading a good book, maybe a self-help book or self-deprecating book or some inspirational book, something. Even if you go and get affirmations, a calendar for affirmations, it's that kind of putting the polish on something that is already on its way. You are on the path. You are doing the work, whether that's for yourself or for the people that you share your safe place with. You got it. It's going. It's happening. That is so cool. The sun and the anchor. So immediately just gravity in who you are. And the weight of that anchor is all about you feeling your own power, whether you are hauling anchor to move into something new and fun and better and doing those minor adjustments to get you there, but you are so certain and so sure about who you are. This is a very lucky card as well, but it's you becoming, as it says, the closer your location, You bask in sweet bliss. Energy abounds in summer's radiant kiss. So the closer that you get to who you truly are at your core, that is when you definitely step into the most magnificent bringer of the light and the healing that you could possibly be. But you've got to be grounded in it. When you stop to drop anchor, you want to be filled to the gills with your goodness. That is what's coming through for you. So sweet. That is so lovely. This is so nice. Wow. All right, let's see what you get for the starseed. Observation. Expand your consciousness by observing the divine matrix of life. Yeah, it's like one of those books that just give you a tidbit to think about for the day. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not to influence that choice for you. That is part of your fun, if you will, to go and pick a book, visit a bookstore, go to the library, whatever you need to do, and find a book about observing the divine matrix, and you will know exactly where to put this absolutely beautiful energy. All right, well, there you have it. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, best of luck.